Hello and thanks for joining us this evening. I'm Abby Haymond and you're watching ABC 10 First News.
A felony arrest warrant was issued Monday for a suspended Tupelo Public Schools agriculture teacher. Tyler Frizzell is charged with second-degree rape, possession of child sexual abuse material, and child exploitation. Today, just before noon, a call came in for two 3-year-old girls that were found unresponsive in this pool at the Ridgeview apartment complex in Sherman, Texas. Sherman police responded to the 911 call that came in at 11:59. It was a maintenance worker that made the call. He found the two girls in the pool unresponsive. While it's never a guarantee, officials say anytime you're near a body of water, wear your life jacket. It can increase your chances of survival by 90%. Right now, governmental immunity protects public and charter schools and their employees from lawsuits stemming from some physical and sexual assault cases. House Bill 4623 proposes waiving that immunity and defines the circumstances of when that would be implemented. One local woman is speaking out on behalf of the bill in hopes of bringing about change. 23 days before Sarah Brundage's death, she celebrated her 38th birthday. The mother of 3 had worked at the Taste of China restaurant since she was 16 years old. Last Thursday, police found her body at the Westwood Gardens apartments in Sherman. On Friday, police identified Brundage as the woman killed in what they call a suspicious death investigation. They did tell us it's just standard procedure when there's a big fire like this to immediately shut off all gas and electric. So we're not sure if that's what's behind the cause of this explosion, but we do know those 2 injuries, unsure of their conditions, and a house has been destroyed here in Durant. A Dallas man has died after crashing a stolen truck on US 75 in Howe just hours after he was released from the Collin County Jail. When you live in Texas and you set a date for your wedding, even if it's in January, you most likely aren't expecting snow. Well, much to their surprise, that was the reality for Allie and Grayson. The newlyweds celebrated their special day in 10 inches of snow. Last week, we met David Craig, the CEO of Preston Harbor. But before Craig took over, one man spent the last 20 years of his life laying the groundwork for his dream. Tonight, we'll learn about George Schuler in Part 2, Blueprint for Growth, Denison's Preston Harbor. Well, Mandy, it is certainly living up to its name. Hot Summer Nights rocks on this week with yet another performance. That's right. Well, we'll start with one of the most watched races, not only in Texas, but across the whole country. The race for the U.S. Senate seat between incumbent Republican Ted Cruz and Democratic challenger Colin Allred. Now, this race is so important because it could decide which party takes control of the U.S. Senate. Local Texas reps spoke with TCEQ commissioners in Austin. One person has been found dead and one still missing after a vehicle crashed into a drainage ditch at 9:18 Tuesday morning on Highway 75 in Sherman. We begin tonight with breaking news out of Pushmataha County, a report of an aircraft collision just south of Antlers near Cornelius Road. Troopers with the Oklahoma Highway Patrol say they are on scene and can confirm fatalities. A Denison woman charged with the 2021 murder of her 11-year-old daughter. 39-year-old Candace Cooper confessed to intentionally giving her daughter Harper Butler methadone, which killed her. The Sherman Animal Shelter being forced to close temporarily from a distemper outbreak. Sherman police confirmed a positive case of the lethal and highly contagious respiratory disease that affects dogs, raccoons, and ferrets. A 678-acre residential development is coming to the town of Dorchester that could increase the town's population by over 7,000%. They've raised over $70,000. These 8th graders from Scott Middle School. We're going to introduce you to some of these teams. All right, what's your team name?
Warm mugs.
All right, water or milk in your hot chocolate?
Water, obviously.
Genius. I'm here at 903 Brewers in Sherman, and I have with me Congressman Pat Fallon from Congressional District 4 here in Texas. Tonight you kicked off your 2024 Town Hall Tour. Why do you do these?
Well, it's the best way to really interact with your bosses.
We are here in Forest Park in Denison, and what a time to be a music lover here in Texoma. Hot summer nights last night, music on Main tonight, and I have with me Donna Dow, director of Denison's Main Street. Donna, who's on cue for this evening?
We have Texas Hill.
A veteran from Minnesota made a stop in Kingston, Oklahoma today on his 1,000-mile walk. We met up with him to learn why.
22 veterans a day take their own lives.
Daniel Crawford was almost a part of that statistic.
A lot of them don't know how to get out of the limbo of life. They get stuck into this not living, not dying mode, drinking themselves to sleep, and that's where I was.
Until he was saved by an organization called 23rd Veteran.
The 23rd Veteran is somebody that's been through the darkness and is out there to help the ones that are still struggling.
The organization's goal is to help veterans living with trauma.
When I think about 22 a day taking their own lives, if I can make one of them smile before that happens, I'll do that.
Daniel Crawford served as a Marine. He got out of the military in 1995, and although he was excited to start a new chapter in his life, get married and have kids, he found himself struggling to cope with trauma and depression.
I am the 23rd Veteran.
Now, 2 years sober, Crawford has set out on a journey to walk 1,000 miles.
These folks, regardless of where they served and when they served or how they served, they volunteered to serve.
To raise awareness and honor the people who give their lives every day. His stop in Kingston, Oklahoma marks 297 miles left on his journey to Marble Falls, Texas.
What we're all about is what he's all about. We're about military.
He's met veterans from all across the country who have helped him every step of the way.
Because the guy's walking 1,000 miles, for God's sake.
To follow along on Daniel's journey and to learn how you can support him, go to our sister station's website at k10.com.
People in Van Alstyne concerned for their children's safety after ISD police caught drivers on camera disregarding school bus laws. We heard from a family who says their son experienced a close call.
Seems to pay attention, and everybody else's time's more valuable than someone else's life.
Van Alstyne Independent School District Police bringing attention to an increase in dangerous driving near school buses.
People just need to start slowing down and being more aware.
Last Friday, during drop-off, someone was caught on camera driving past a stopped bus.
Driving extremely fast, passing 3 parked cars on an incline with a bus there.
One woman recalls how her girlfriend's son narrowly escaped being hit by that car.
He passed 3 parked cars, a bus with its signs and lights on, and as the child got off the bus, as he was walking, somebody called his attention with his name, and he stopped. That's the only reason that he didn't get hit by the car.
Officials said in a social media post, when buses are stopped, they are either picking up or dropping off students, and going around them puts students' lives at risk.
It's done something to him to think, he was getting off a school bus. That's when our kids are supposed to be safe.
According to the Texas Transportation Code, if there's not a physical barrier, drivers from either direction are required to stop when its flashing lights are on and stop sign is out.
We have to sadly adjust our lives to fit the people that A, don't care, B, don't realize, or just don't have any kind of common sense.
Van Alstyne ISD police said all of the buses have cameras, and if a driver's caught, they will receive a citation. This is punishable by a fine between $500 and $1,250.
The attempted assassination of former President Trump on Saturday has already been etched into America's history. We asked locals, where were you the last time a president was shot?
Breaking news, former President Donald Trump is safe and a 20-year-old shooter is dead after a shocking assassination attempt.
First of all, the president is safe. We are told that shots were fired at his party as he left the hotel.
Shots fired at former President Donald Trump at a rally on Saturday. A moment that will go down in political history.
We saw former President Trump being shot, so we just stayed at the hotel all night watching the news until we get the news he's safe.
The last time there was an assassination attempt on a current or former president was 43 years ago.
Just got out of school, I was in 3rd grade. We got in the car, my grandma said the president's been shot.
In 1981, President Ronald Reagan was shot following a speech in Washington, D.C. at the Hilton Hotel.
I was living in Oklahoma, Tulsa. When we heard the news, it was sadness.
About the same thing, we couldn't believe it.
While some political slogans remain similar,
it means make America great again. That's all we want to do.
Together, we'll make America great again. Thank you very much.
many things have changed in 40 years.
Political tension in general, political polarization in general, has been growing considerably.
When President Reagan was shot, he was 2 months into his presidency. And now former President Trump is campaigning to take back the White House.
But this is a much different race because we have two people who have now both held the presidency running against each other.
This assassination attempt coming just one day before the start of the Republican National Convention.
Just ratchets up the emotional connection that people have to the election. It feels a lot less like a referendum on policy and more like a referendum on fundamental values.